All right, so we're here for the pilot edition of the Bull-Bear debates. We have two challengers now since we don't have a champion. For the Bull side will be Flibbr, and for the Bear side we have IBankBitcoins. So we'll just get right into the format. The format will be that the Bull will present first, that's Flibbr. He will present his case, then the Bear side, IBankBitcoins, will do his case. They'll have a small period to cross-examine each other's TA and how they came to their decisions, and then the panel will be opened up for questions and a final decision on the winner. So without further ado, Flibbr, I give you the floor to present the Bitcoin bull case.
Thank you, Vix, for such a lovely introduction and putting this together. I'm most grateful. So yeah, I'm going to do the bull side, and I'll start with, I don't know how many charts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll start from the most highest of time frames, where I'm bull, going to the very smallest of time frames where I'm also going to be bull. So I'll just give that a little bit of time to come through. My screen's a little bit laggy. So obviously this is the first one I want to present. This is the weekly, and basically what I'm looking at here is a huge amount of momentum divergence to the bullish side on the MACD, and on that last weekly dip we're also building some weekly RSI bullish divergence. So I like that for on the weekly bull side. The next one I'm going to go to, this is coming down to the daily now. So we're bull weekly, right? Now I'm going to go bull daily. And this is price plotted against the Finex shorts. And basically what I'm looking at here is we're in this huge kind of descending wedge, which itself, I mean, I know Bitcoin, you know, ascending wedges, they kind of break out bullish, and descending wedges, they break out down. So maybe it's not the best example with Bitcoin, but you know, the theory is they break out bullish. So so yeah, I'm sticking with the traditional theory that it will break out bullish. And we also have what I believe is a shorting bubble. I mean, the downside to this is obviously you've got the dollar rising as price started tanking, and it is pricing against the dollar, and obviously that's going up. But we still have on the daily side what I believe is a shorting implosion. Yes, I know there's a lot of longs there too. What's on loan, what isn't, who really knows? But it's quite clear from this chart that basically I look for new all-time highs in shorts. You can see here towards the right-hand side, this is pretty much up to date with today, the shorts are literally exploding. And what's happened, the sentiment across the board, like on Reddit, you know, a lot of people crying, yeah, IRC, people going crazy. And what's happening is basically people are just convinced this is it, it's over. And I've spoke to people breaking out cold wallets and stuff, you know, to sell. Now, basically, when it goes up, you know, the green dollar signs start ticking, they need to get back in. So you have all these shorts that need to close a short, then buy in with their USD to BTC if they're not already in that, and then get margin long as well. That's there's a lot of buying power, you know, lying on the sides waiting for this to turn up. And with the weekly bullish signs looking good, that's why I like that. But yeah, you can see pretty much on that chart, every time you get a big fat spike on the shorts, you know, there is a big fat spike to come after. And pretty much every time, and the more all-time high it goes, the more it likes to. And the other thing is mentality as well. People are, you know, price going down is very choppy. Price going up is pure FOMO. I mean, you look at any time it goes up from November rally onwards, you know, it goes up, and what it takes to come down is so much longer, you know. So a FOMO rally up, you know, could quite easily, I think, with the 23k plus shorts right now, pop out the top of that wedge, and maybe that would be the same as this descending line we had that came from here. When we kind of did this 420 level and we consolidated, and then we quote broke the bear trend line and then rallied up to 680. Well, this could be a similar kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. Oh, look, guys, we've had a FOMO rally from the shorts closing, and we've just broke the bear trend line. So, I mean, you've got multiple things attacking there to say up. So, like the weekly, like the shorts, like the psychology, like the despair capitulation, like the cold wallets coming out, all good. Next one I'm going to here, this is my lunar chart. And you can see we get these really nice lows coming in on the full moons. And lo and behold, oh, and also look, this is a 12-hour actually, and you can see I've got a 12-hour Willy on there, and you can see each time you've had a 12-hour Willy dip, you have had a good surge after. So that in itself says we do a good surge. Shorts, maybe they're going to feel some pain, maybe they'll hold. There's a lot taken out. It's probably about 8 taken out since kind of 285 and lower. So there's a lot of people that might be feeling uncomfortable there. So I like the lunar side of things too. This chart here, going back to daily, this is basically what this shows is the declinations, which is the distance between the planets and the Earth. And you can see it kind of like as it ebbs and flows, so does price. And it's not accurate to the day. It's more of like if the moon shows the kind of the 2-week cycle, the ebb and flow of the market from upwards bias pressure to downwards bias pressure. This is very much on the weekly, monthly cycle. Everything has this cyclic ebb and flow to it. And yeah, I mean, we turned at the top, but we were higher before. We turned at the bottom. We've had a little dip down, just to the bottom of that trend line from the other chart. So I like the ebb and flow of the planets. I think the planets are in our favor. The moon's in our favor. The weekly bullish div is in our favor. The shorts are in our favor. And then finally pulling it down to the 2-hour. It's probably about 2 hours old, this chart, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, we do have a kind of overbought condition, but you can ignore that when you're rallying because price gets trending, and you can pretty much throw the indicators away. But we're making a nice kind of bullish flag consolidation right now above the 38.2. MACDs are reloading. Don't want it to hang around too long in case those higher time frames decide to turn down. Those 2 hours been surging, but yeah, I mean, got a nice upside target there. I mean, we're going to have to reconfirm the low at some point. There'll naturally be a kind of, oh my god, that was it. Now we're going back down again. And then everybody can get even more short, and then we can go up, and then they can all get squeezed really hard. So that's what I'm thinking for the bull side.
All right. And did you have the Sidereal graph turn on there too? Or did I miss that part?
It was just the declinations, just the kind of larger ebb and flow, as opposed to the the other planetary indicators.
Okay.
I was just being curve fitting it.
All right. Yes, as we all like to do with our TA and curve fitting. All right. So that's the bull case. IBankBitcoins, are you ready to present the bear case? You have to unmute yourself. IBankBitcoins. You have to unmute yourself.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello.
There you
Hi.
go.
Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. First of all, thanks for inviting me over here. I will be presenting the bear case here, as I've been a bear for a very long time. Let me just get the screen started.
We want to mention that IBankBitcoins just accepted his award from our Bitcoin markets. What was the award for? What was?
The best, or the honorary technician for Reddit markets, I believe. I don't know.
All right.
It's the 2004 trophy. I got 1 month of Reddit Go, which is I'm very happy of.
2014. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you present. Go ahead and take over the bull case now. Or bear case,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So I only have one chart, and I'll be going over some other indicators that I look at from time to time. I'll start with the biggest time frame, and then I'll go to the lower time frames as I progress. So I'm looking at this year. I'm looking at the Chinese exchange here. I'm looking at this year, and currently the price is actually below major support, which is this line here, as you can see. Obviously, we're in a downtrend from here to here. No matter how you draw it, you're gonna get the downtrend. But we are below support. So this is the reason why I am very bearish. And if what Flibbr says that it is bullish and we have a massive amount of short, I would not be convinced until price reach back to above this support line. And that's my technical analysis. Or if we do retest these large weekly trend lines and break out of these trend lines, then I will be more convinced that we have a bullish case. But as of right now, as of today, we did bounce from lows. Let me just get over here. You can see that we had a huge volume breakdown here, and that is hugely bearish because there's a lot of bounces around here, but it was not able to make new low until a couple of days ago, and that's a pretty big deal, right, in terms of technical analysis, because those are major supports from even back 12 months ago. So that's how I see about from the weekly and the daily point of view. We might be bouncing a couple even higher, maybe even possibly back to retest this number, which is about $300 or 1,900 RMB. But I believe that overall, until we break these trend line, the downward trend lines and breaking the horizontal support, or in this case, this resistance now, I will be very bearish. So I want to take a look at the number of Bitfinex shorts. So a lot of people say that that the shorts are rising fast and the short squeeze is coming, and that is true. That is if the bears are wrong and the bulls are right, right? So, but a lot of times when people short, they're right. So how do you know when if the bulls are right or the bears are right? I'll go over that in a little bit, but essentially people are selling short. If you were to look at this graph here, this is the number of Bitcoin short, which is almost 25K. Now the prices are cheaper, so 25K Bitcoin is not nearly as much as, say, in November 2014. It's not as expensive as, say, 20K over here, or maybe even 10K over here. But the idea is that it's selling. People are willing to sell at a lower prices to buy back even cheaper. So people are very confident that they're selling short at these levels. A lot of times people sell short at the top. They don't necessarily sell short at the bottom, right? Because it's riskier if you sell at the bottom and it rallies. But people are much more confident to sell short in the last month or so that we have reached all-time high. If you were to look at the USD swaps for Bitfinex, it's pretty much at all-time low here, or not all-time low. From 30 million down to 20 million, we have not really rallied much from that point. So there's not too much information that we can analyze from that. So again, how do you know when the traders who are short are right or wrong? It's hard to say, but I look at Google Trends and I look at whether there's real demand basically outside money coming into Bitcoins, essentially. And outside money is pretty much the only driver that would push Bitcoins out or upward to the moon, or some people would say that. And I'm looking at Google Trend. I search the keyword is buy Bitcoin. That is that's the one I look at. And as you can see, in 2014 we have huge spikes, and that's when price rallies really. And when it takes a dump, price drops. And as you can see, that we have been floating consistently around 27, 28 as of today, January 2015 partial data. So you can see that people are not so interested in buying Bitcoins. If no one buys, price will drop. So that's most of my analysis. And the last thing I want to say is that when market makes new lows, statistically speaking, it's likely to make new lows, lower lows in this case. And when market rallies, make new highs, it's statistically more likely to make higher highs. So right now we're at a pretty low point, and I believe that we may bounce in the short term, but ultimately the bulls have to defeat these trend line all the way up to maybe even here to convince me, to prove to me that that Bitcoin is bullish again. And I think that's all I have to present for now.
Thanks for presenting your case, IBankBitcoins. I see we got 121 live viewers, so I'm going to ask if they're watching that they hashtag bullbear. Hashtag bullbear if you want to submit any commentary on the matter. But we're going to enter the cross-examination period right here. And the way it's going to work is, IBank, you get to go through the charts that Flibbr posted and make critiques or criticisms of stuff that he brought up earlier. So Flibbr, if you could put up your charts again and allow IBank to cross-examine. If you know specifically the chart you want, IBank, make sure to reference that.
Okay, thank you. So I was looking at the. Could you go to the one with the moon and the cycle?
Flibbr?
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should be on there.
So I was trying to understand. This chart is essentially a cycle based. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So you're from what you've done here, it sounds like, or it seems to my understanding that that the current is in the down moon dump. It's gonna go back to the up moon pump mode,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So
I see.
I mean, the way I interpret the indicator is to say that each moon has basically a bias, and like the market's gonna have a trend, and if the trend, you can check this yourself on the earlier dates if you want, and that is like, even if the trend is up on a you'll regularly get crashes and spikes on a full moon. And if the trend is down, like a new moon is like an up moon, yeah. And if the trend is down, what will happen is it'll just kind of like starve off, or like a very limited temper the aggression of the trend. So yeah, it's like an ebb and flow. I mean, you can check every single previous peak ever, all-time high has always been on the new moon. And even when we're trending down, you see on that last one, it would come up with the up moon. You have an up moon pump.
Yeah.
So even if it's trending down, you get to that up moon, and it gives it a surge. But it's selective. You can people say whatever, but it's something I personally add into my tool set of indicators to help determine price direction.
So I mean, I have no problem with this type of analysis. I've seen it many times in the past, especially when some of your down moon dumps are consistent or consistently picking a bottom within maybe plus minus 5 days, right? It's just that this type of analysis, I feel, is more on the cycle base. So meaning that it's the larger trend is still down, but it dips and then goes up, it dips and goes up. It's kind of cycle analysis, or I would say oscillation type analysis, not necessarily indicator.
Exactly.
Is that correct? Okay, understood.
Exactly, yeah. And the way I think about it is to say, like, if the cycle is coming to up and we can break out that bearish trend line, with the weekly bullish div. I mean, that weekly bullish div is, I mean, on the MACD, you're talking about your three drives. What's it called? Not Wyclef. It's not Wyclef Jean, isn't it? But we're on a 3-drive pattern on that bullish div there on the MACD. There's a nice bullish div on the RSI too.
Well,
So I like that.
I think that for the MACD, the way it's being calculated is that it takes a average, right? Essentially, the way it's even calculated is take the slower average, subtract the faster average, and you get this this histogram. Is that correct? Right?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay, well, that's exactly how it works. So if you were to imagine now price was at 8,000, right? If price was at 8,000, the volatility by percentage is high, or not by percentage, by dollar amount. The amount of dollar change is a lot, right? Hence, you see a big giant histogram. When price gets compressed, like we are now, which is fluctuation between $400 to $300 or $270 in this case, by nature, by math, the amount of the histogram should be compressed. It is so. I believe that for the MACD, if you want to analyze at a longer term, you have to use the log scale MACD to normalize the big change in fluctuations when, say, price take off from, say, $500 to 1,000. That fluctuation will guarantee that you'll have a bigger histogram. So the divergence is not, in my personal opinion, obviously, not useful when the fluctuation, the price is extremely large, which in this case is, the highest price is almost 1,000, or in this case, what is it, 8,000, and the lowest price is 1,000. You're gonna get these anomalies in the histogram.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I think we'll leave it. Those are two charts that you can test it of Flibbrs, and for just to expedite the process, we'll stop there and we'll move to the cross-examination.
Look at Apple Computer! Cancel all orders!
They got us. I love those guys.
Even you guys. Congratulations.
I know. So for
cancel all orders.
That's true. Now, Flibbr, you get to cross-examine IBankBitcoins.
Okay, let me share my screen here. Let's go back.
It's okay. I mean, it's mostly just what you said. I say one of the things he said a lot of people are shorting here because they're confident it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And you said most people short at the top, before it goes down. But actually, if you look at the chart I've got here, the data's pretty clear that most people actually short at the bottom. And when you get those huge spikes in shorts, it's actually the bottom. And that kind of coincides with the fact that 90% of traders are wrong. So
could you explain to me what's are you saying that the overlay is the number of shorts? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the area filled in the background. So yes, you can see that actually when we're high, like up at 650 whatever, there weren't many shorts at all. But when we come down,
Look at that! Down 1,000 points! This is what happened!
Yeah, there's a lot of shorts. So actually, most people short at the bottom, and we have this super spike in the shorts, parabolic all-time highs. And if I was a whale, I mean, most people that buy into Bitcoin are bullish on Bitcoin anyway because that's why they bought it, because they believe in it.
That's
and
true.
So it's much easier for them to FOMO up than it is to FOMO down. And if they've got shorts and they think it's going to take off and they've just shorted at the bottom, that's why you get those really fast, strong surges. The other thing which you said was USD's nearing all-time lows, and I actually thought I was really bullish because it shows that actually there's loads of people out there that can take out loads of margin longs. So it's like adding fuel to the fire.
Are you talking about the US dollar?
The USD swaps.
Oh, the USD swaps. I see. Okay. I wasn't sure if you're talking about the US dollar currency or the USD swaps. Okay.
No.
I only see
I mean,
570. Why isn't it updating? On what?
The other thing I'd say as well is the other thing you said was about outside money and influx, and you said you can't see a lot of new money coming in, which again I completely disagree with, because actually I'd say if you look at when Bitcoin was priced at $275 last year, what did you have? You had Mt. Gox, BitPay, probably just a couple of months down the road. There was absolutely nothing, no infrastructure whatsoever. And if you look at the amount of money that's been poured into Bitcoin,
Fucking told you it was coming. If you don't believe me, we're down 720.
if you look at the amount of people that have poured in money into Bitcoin, and in the infrastructure and the actual base of everything, I'd say that inside money, money inflow
Look at
really
that!
high.
Look at it! Take them all out!
And you look at the auctions as well. Again, that's absolutely shitloads of people buying down the road. Coins. So there was absolute.
Alright, we're full now,
But
so we
yeah,
can get any more of those guys.
So outside money and influence. I mean, again, if they're going to buy stuff, if they're going to buy Bitcoin like Draper, what's he going to do? Does he want to just keep buying Bitcoin? No, he wants to buy Bitcoin and then use his other money to improve the the infrastructure to make the real world applications better. So I say new inflow money is really good as well. And I'd say the other thing is a Google Trends. I mean, to be honest, it's just kind of flatlining. But to be honest, it actually looks like it kind of flatlines. I mean, it goes up gradually, but it's very marginal. Until it starts going crazy. That's when your dentist, your doctor, your school teacher, and everybody out there wants to buy Bitcoin. They don't want to buy it. They don't want to buy it when it's going down all the time because obviously it's going down. But things turn around quickly,
Alright, is that all you have, Flibbr?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just what I would say to some of the points IBank raised with regards to those things that he said.
And I'll open it up to the panel right now. If somebody has a question about a chart that either one of them posted that you want to bring up, or you want to get behind your bull or your bear, now is the time. So I'll open it up right now. If you can post it in chat so that I don't have to just everyone speaks at the same time. Who wants to go? Anyone? Not gonna get anybody. Okay, Jordan, go ahead.
Hey, Flibbr, got a question for you. I like your up moon, down moon graph. I thought that was really cool seeing that the other day. Is this a pattern that you've just picked up recently, or like what made you see this indicator, or is this an indicator in many other, we'll say, stocks or whatever it be?
Well, the guy that invented RSI, I forgot his name, Weiner or something.
Wilder.
He actually, Wilder, yeah. He actually gave up using RSI and stuff, and he actually formed a new company that was purely based around, the lunar cycle and the planets. And then I looked into the Sidera graph and saw like that it was basically the astrological trading was some of the best performing newsletters for stocks and stuff. I spoke to them as well. That got me interested. But each lunar cycle is 2 weeks long, so it's something you have to watch for say like 2 months before you kind of figure it out. Then you have to trade it and lose on it for 2 months while you realize you still haven't got it figured out, and then you can give it a a weighted value in your algorithm in your head that determines what are you going to do with price action.
Very good, thanks. And I just have one question for IBankBitcoins. Your graph where you said you wouldn't be convinced that it's not bullish until it reaches a certain point. What made you evaluate, either that value amount or that area on your graph?
Are you referring to this line here?
Yes.
Well, it's actually, I didn't draw it. I mean, I drew it temporarily, but
No. Where you said you would make a determination and be convinced that Bitcoin is bullish. I believe it was above the second line there, right?
Right. I believe that Bitcoin would be bullish if it breaks out of this downtrend and downtrend line at this point here. or maybe even at this point. But as of currently speaking, we need to make, if Bitcoin was bullish, then buyers would step in and just buy this thing up and go to 2,000 and higher. That's my case, right?
Gotcha.
If it doesn't break it, then it's just going to tumble like previously what happened to all of these. Look at how good this trend line is, right? It's drawn how many times it hit, but it never breaks out. And you wonder why sellers are selling every bounces that you can't. And right, I think we're actually making gonna make new high here, or not new high. Gonna probably retest this area.
Right. Gotcha. Good, and that's it for me.
All right, bear market. Oh, go ahead, Flibbr.
I was going to say something about selling bounces. I mean, you look at the, I don't know if it's still on my screen, I'm not looking at it, but if you look at the 420 area plotted against shorts, I mean, people in Bitcoin, they love it to go down really hard, bounce hard, and they'd be like, oh, look, we put in a bottom. And it's like, well, actually, what happened was we just sold off so fucking stupidly, like such an emotional, you know, kind of crazed moment that price was just completely and utterly rejected. But those lows, they like to be confirmed because it was like we didn't really test the low, we just bounced off it from stupidity. But the kind of low I like to see is actually a real slow grind, like the 420, and I like that low better because basically it's like sellers keep going, but they're not getting anywhere, and shorts keep going up, and you just end up in this kind of seller exhaustion, and then you end up with a pop and huge amount of people totally out of position. But yeah, I mean, there's the weekly pivot, obviously, which would drop beneath. I think it was like 310, 313. Yeah, and the daily EMAs. I mean, we dragged them in pretty hard and tight last time. We did have that one cross up to 450, which kind of showed the bullish power. And to me, you know, to argue a bull case, you could say, you know, it's like, you know, when price goes up pretty hard, when it goes up pretty hard and on its way up, it actually like sells off really dramatically and picks up and carries on going up again. And it's almost like we're doing that on this shorting bubble. We're going down. Oh, we had a huge fucking rally retrace, and then we're going down. It's almost like a moment of like instability being shown.
All right, and bear market. Did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I'd like to know the target that you have in mind for the bear trend ending, or do you think it's going to go forever?
This is a question for both of us?
For IBank, right? Yeah, I think he meant to you. IBank.
Okay, let me just share a screen again. So, what? Nope.
The reason I asked that is because it sounds like you're okay with it going up, but you're saying it's going to go down again. I want to know how far it's going to go down.
How far it's going to go down? So I can't really give you an answer. I can imagine going down to maybe 1,000 in the very, very long term, simply because this whole entire downtrend is simply a retracement, 100% retracement of this whole bar all the way up. So I can see it being to 1,000. That is not, I don't know if it's even possible, but that's where I would probably start stepping in and start buying them, because then by then what the market cap of Bitcoin would be maybe like 1 billion. Currently speaking, I would say the short-term targets are 245 and then 200. I think 245, 255 is the previous all-time high, which technically speaking has a lot of support value, and 200 round number is also a good support value. So I can see that a market might consolidate there or might bounce. I actually don't know. Like to answer your, I don't have an answer for your question to how low we'll go. All I know is short the bounces, cover when it rallies. That's the name of the game.
All right, and I think that wraps it up for the question. Someone have something? I heard something. No? Okay, so that wraps it up for the end of the cross-examination. We'll go into the voting period to decide the winner of the bull-bear debate. So you can either type it in the chat box if you're muted and not on mic. Otherwise, I'm just going to start from left to right on my panel. Obviously, Flibbr and IBankBitcoins don't get a vote because they cancel each other out. I remain out unless there's a tiebreaker. So we'll start with bear market. Flibbr or IBankBitcoins?
It sounds like they both want to go up. I'm going with the bull case.
Okay, bull. One bull, so one for Flibbr. BTC Mexican. BTC Mexican. You can talk now. You're off mute. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with IBankBitcoins here, and I think we're going to continue on this downtrend for a little bit longer, maybe 1 or 2 more months.
Okay. Chandler. No.
Chandler's dead.
All right. Jordan.
I'm going bull.
All right, Flibbr. Josh. You stuck with Flibbr. I see you got that. All right, he's still bull. Julian. Julian, you got a bull or bear? All right, Tanner.
All right, I've got to say, IBankBitcoins, I appreciate all your TA and all the stuff you do for Bitcoin markets, but I'm going to have to side with a bull case. Tom, I think you're pretty correct, man. And you know what? I think we're going up right as we speak.
Did you say bull or bear, Tanner?
Bull.
You went bull? And then Julian just chimed in as bear, so we got a 4-3 for Flibbr. The bull wins this case. I just want to thank my panel, the 2 contenders, Flibbr, IBankBitcoins, for being on. Until next time for another bull-bear debate on Bitcoin.